Hello and welcome to another story time with Sky Fellowship. And today's little bit of housekeeping is I wanted to record this anyway. This is something that I did want to record, but I'm honestly doing this to try and do the whole tempt fate thing, which never really works. I'm currently experiencing some health issues and waiting for a doctor to call me back, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm trying to do the whole at the least convenient moment for a call to come through tends to be when a call actually comes through. It's a phenomenon that tends to happen to a lot of people. It's very rare, especially with my doctors, that they ever actually ring at a time when I actually am able to answer the phone, essentially. So I'm hoping by being in the middle of recording, they'll turn around and they'll finally ring me, and if so, it means you won't see any of this video at this moment in time. I'll have to re-record it again, and you won't get to hear any of this waffle. So I'm going to start though and say the episode title is going to be a difficult one, because I kind of want to just take the exact same episode title I did for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, because honestly, the entire video is going to be about how do you improve upon perfection. And this video might not be what people think it might be. Firstly, I'm going to try and adjust the actual game volume, because I'm worried it's a little too high when I actually get in, because I'm looking at OBS now, and the volume sliders and everything are saying that just the sound effects in the background are spiking, and that's before I actually get into the game. I will also say that when I did Left 4 Dead, and it's obviously the same engine as this, OBS did not like it at all. Did not like it one little bit, and it ran like crap. So if the footage looks like it's stuttering all the time or anything, I apologise. It's just apparently OBS does not like the Source engine. But what does like the Source engine are modders and VR, and that's where this video is going. I'm not going to be talking about Half-Life 3, don't get me wrong. Nothing would please me fucking more than to finally get Half-Life 3. I'm wishing I could skip the G-Man right now, because again, and I'm glad I turned it down, but I'm now going to have to adjust it again in OBS, so apologies for this. I figure it's better to do this now at the start of the video though, because it might be difficult trying to focus on my voice whilst also hearing his voice in the background. If the G-Man is indeed even a man, these are certain questions that we need answering, because dude doesn't seem human to me, but whatever. Obviously, I'm going to be mentioning massive spoilers with this franchise, so if you've never played any of it, firstly, go do it, but if you've got access to VR, listen to at least the start of the video, because again, I'm not going to be discussing Half-Life 3. I want Half-Life 3 more than anything, and I really hope Half-Life 3's actually got VR support. I personally think it will. This is one of those predictions I made a long time ago. I sounded crazy to a lot of people. Why is my aim not inverted? I sounded crazy to a lot of people when I said this, that, seriously, where the hell's my... Right, I'm only going to be at the start. I can suffer. It's fine. Oh, God, this is so bad. This is so wrong. Down should not be down and up should not be up. What world is this? Anyway, I said that the next VR will be the next Half-Life will be VR exclusive, and people were like, they'll never do that. They'll never ever do that. Well, Half-Life Alyx exists. I was right. And I still maintain that there's going to be VR with Half-Life 3, because you see, Valve tend to want to push industry standards, and they tend to only release an engine when there's some real boom that they can do, some real massive thing that they can do with the tech, and that's what they obviously did with all of their Half-Life games. Half-Life has always been to signify a new age, and the fact that we're getting a Steam box soon, and then a Steam frame, which I'm really looking forward to. I really hope by the time you even see this, because of when I'm recording it, all of this might already be confirmed. So the reason that I wanted to call it Improving on Imperfection, but I'm going to have to come up with a different name. This is one that I'll have to edit it in afterwards. I'll have to just put the name there, because I truly don't want to just repeat the title. But Half-Life 2 is one of my all-time favourite games. It's probably the oldest game in my current top 5. I discussed in another video that you potentially will have seen by the time this has gone up, saying that gaming has peaked in certain ways for me, but then I realised that actually there's certain genres that still haven't really been improved upon in such a long time that it gives me hope that something will come along. And in Half-Life's case, Half-Life 3 I think is the only thing that will ever dethrone Half-Life 2. I would be astonished if there would be a first-person shooter that comes out that does what this did, or betters it, that isn't made by the team that did this. So I adore the game. I've played through it so many times. I've bought it so many times. I love everything about it. I would say I know it inside and out, but I probably don't know it inside and out, because when I finally decided to replay it recently, I'd heard that there were mods for the VR version. And because Alex existed on the Source engine, the modders were able to not just make a decent mod, it feels like it was natively made for VR. This is a game that released on the original fucking Xbox. Obviously it released on the PC, I'm playing it on a PC, but just to try to do time frame, it released on the original fucking Xbox, and the VR mod made it feel like it was always designed to be played in VR. And this is one of those few games that, as much as I don't give ratings on this channel, outside of the now doing that IGN gives us a 7, and even then, at best, the rating I kind of essentially give is a 7. I don't ever really commit to a number. This is one of those games that would always get a 10 from me. I honestly say this, without a hint of irony or anything. For the first time ever, I would rate Half-Life 2 a 7 out of 10. Because Half-Life 2 VR is so good, is so exceptional, is so well made, is so fucking mind-blowing, that now when I play this game in flat screen, I'm like, wow, this used to be a 10 out of 10, but now it's a 7 because the VR version's the 10 out of 10. Because of the whole way that 10 out of 10s work, I either have to give the VR version a 13 out of 10, or I have to drop this down to a 7 out of 10. It truly is that much of a fucking staggering difference. It was like replaying the game. Well, actually, no, that's what I was trying to say. It was like playing the game for the first fucking time. I'd played something that I knew inside and out. And I know it may not look it right now, but again, oh my god, down, it should not be down. I knew this game inside and out. And I was walking around and I'm going, oh my god, I never noticed that detail. Oh my god, I never noticed that. Whoa, I can do that. The physics engine and everything works so well when you can actually pick things up with your fucking hands. It is an absolute, like, the game was already perfection. And now the game is even more perfect. If you have never played this game before, this is the point where I'm going to say, turn off and play it and get the VR version if you can. Because now I'm about to fully delve into spoilers. Because something I kind of want to start the video with, but didn't. I obviously mentioned the doctor thing. I kind of wanted to make a joke about the fact that our NHS is currently being gutted by rich, powerful people and do the whole, but that's a political thing. That's a thing for a different video. Thankfully, there's absolutely no similarities with Half-Life 2. I mean, at no point would humanity ever sell itself out to, like, for the gain of themselves. But yeah, that's obviously what's happening in real life. That's what's happening in Half-Life. That humans basically turned around and were like, you know what? I like being a pick-me. I like having this cushy little job. I will, okay, yeah, I knew ladders were going to be a problem with inverted him. I will quite happily sacrifice my species, so as long as I can sit in my office at the top of... Can I still see it? Yep, at the top of that tower, all is fine and well. I love everything about the storytelling of this game. I love the discovery. I love that, despite it not being an open-world game, I think this is one of those games that was when we started to get pushed to open world, because for the most part I'm in the Unreal's tutorial section right now, but even in the Unreal's tutorial section, and there's no reason to do most of this, but even in the Unreal's tutorial section, there's things that I can do to play. There's things that I can just do to be silly and play it and just, yep, there's the first phrase, and to just go where I want to go and do what I want to do and not be penalised for it. And then when you do actually exit the Unreal's tutorial section, where that's basically when you get given your crowbar, you kind of just set free on the world and told to just go. And there's no... There are checkpoints that I think eventually got added, but at the time, checkpoints weren't really a thing. It's something that I understand checkpoints. I like checkpoints for an accessibility reason. But at the same time, checkpoints are something that kind of started to hurt FPS games for me, because suddenly being able to go into a room and have the crap kicked out of me and just be able to take cover and heal, and if I'd failed then I'd only reset like 2 minutes of progress anyway. It ruined some of the high stakes that these games had, where I truly felt like it was Gordon against the Combine, and the odds are overwhelmingly in the Combine's favour. And it adds to the tension, it adds to just the horror to everything, and Ravenholm. So, oh yeah, Ravenholm in VR was next level. Like, Ravenholm's always been one of my most favourite areas in a video game. The chapter, everything, the way that the horror works, the fact that you get the grav gun and you're able to use giant chainsaw blades to cut through enemies, it was exceptional. And doing that in VR and actually being terrified, because I knew how jumped I got in the flat screen version. Like, that's how it's designed. The zombies jump you all the time. Having that fear in VR, it was just next level immersion. It really was. So for the whole purpose of this video, though, to try to get back on track, once you get out into the open world and you get to do everything, you get like a boat and you get to explore around there, and finding puzzles actually turns out to be how you progress things, and you get driving sections. Like, there's so much that this game did before so many other games that I'm about to make a weird simile, or maybe simile's not the word, brain's not functioning today, comparison. I'm about to make a weird comparison, basically, that Conker's Bad Fur Day is the only game similar to Half-Life 2, where your gameplay is kind of changing all the time. And it really is one of those scenarios where you're going through a horror area, going through a regular area, going through an open world area, you're driving something, you're piloting something, you're solving puzzles, you're fighting massive bosses. The moment-to-moment gameplay changes so much that even if you ever did start to get bored or something, which I don't know how you could, I truly don't know how you could get bored of this game. It's just like, from the moment it opens up, it's a masterpiece in every single fucking way. But you're doing so many different things, and all of it felt ahead of the curve. All of it was powered by this absolutely magnificent physics system. I still don't think there's games out there that have really managed to even come close to this. It's not my all-time favourite game. It's my all-time favourite first-person shooter. It's not even fucking close. I love the Borderlands series and that, but Borderlands isn't strictly a first-person shooter. It's a first-person RPG with a bunch of other stuff, and this is why I struggle to find what's actually going to overtake Half-Life, because first-person shooters have changed so drastically. I've went from saying that this was one of my favourite genres to I can't in good faith say that anymore, because I don't like the majority of actual first-person shooters that come out these days. I genuinely cannot stand the Call of Duty series or Battlefield or any of that crap. I never have done. Even when I used to play a couple of those games like COD 2 and, funnily enough, Battlefield 2, they were the last times I really got invested in a Call of Duty and a Battlefield, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to ever play any game from this franchise again, because none of it felt groundbreaking. None of it felt like I needed to see what these dev teams do. It all felt like generic slop by the time I was done. And maybe that's being too harsh, but when you consider this is still the gold standard in first-person shooters, and it's over 20 years old now, it's absolutely... the difference in quality is night and day, and it's why so many people are going absolutely apeshit over the possibility that Half-Life 3 might finally fucking exist. It's a monumental occasion. It isn't just a meme like what happened with Silksong, where people latched onto the meme and then Silksong turned out to be absolutely exceptional as well. This is one of the games of all time. This is in the people like to do top 100 lists and top games before you die. This is always going to be one of the absolute upper echelon of games you have to play. And the fact that we can play all of it again in VR and experience all of that and really go up close and see the fine details and really feel like you're playing as Gordon Freeman, as much as that also became a fucking meme with IGN, though you really feel like this, that and the other. That is the whole point of games. They're supposed to make you feel like you're not, living through a current horrific fascist regime or anything. They're supposed to be escapist. They're supposed to let you feel like you've got the power to change things, because in reality you sadly fucking don't. As much as people love to say vote and voting has the power, I don't think there's any power out there at all short of scorching the entire earth and starting over again as a species. And I don't say that lightly, and I'm not one of those people who wants humanity to be extinct. I am genuinely fucking terrified that we are intent on speedrunning our own extinction, but it feels like we need some sort of reset in real life to really, really change things, and I don't see how that comes without hitting rock bottom first, because that tends to be the whole point of that simile. I think we need a combined level threat for humanity to finally get its shit together and go, you know what, maybe we should actually stop treating every other human that's different to us as the enemy, and maybe we should really focus on the actual enemy. So I still adore everything about this game. I still play it when I need hope, because it is the kind of thing that allows me to think. I mean, even the head crab there, yes, granted they had to defang it, but they managed to even turn one of the most notorious, infamous enemies that everyone fucking hated into a cute, cuddly little pet for Barney. Hang on, is that Barney, or is Barney the... Barney's the cop, isn't it? Why the hell can't I remember the fucking professor's name right now? I know this game inside and out. Doesn't remember one of the main fucking characters. I'm terrible with names. I am truly terrible with names. But the fact that even Half-Life 2 Episode 1, which is considered the worst part of Half-Life 2, even that is a masterpiece compared to most other games. It's incredibly short, and it's a little basic. It's one of those that it's more fun if you actually try to do challenge modes. Like, there's an achievement for using literally one bullet throughout the entire campaign, and it's because you have to shoot a lock off with your gun. Because I think you don't have the, Sorry, I'm getting yelled at by the professor whose name I can't remember at this moment in time. Yeah. The fact that you get your crowbar after your guns is why you have to use one bullet, and then for the rest of the time, you can then just turn it into a crowbar thing, which is actually a lot more fun and a lot easier to do in the VR as well. It's a cool challenge to accomplish. But then Episode 2 came out, and Episode 2 is absolutely masterful. But then also has weird challenges, like there's a challenge to take a gnome, a garden gnome that you find early in the game, and you have to transport it the entire way to the end of the game to get an achievement. And that may sound difficult to begin with, but when you realise everything you have to do, all the places you have to take this fucking gnome, driving is terrible, because again, it's a real life physics thing, and you can't strap the gnome in with a seatbelt. So if you hit I'd say a pothole, but you're not really driving. I mean, you drive on a little bit of road, if memory serves, in Episode 2. There's definitely road sections in Half-Life 2. If you hit what is essentially a pothole, that gnome's going to go flying, and if you haven't saved recently, yeah, that's going to ruin your day. And this is... The reason I bring these challenges up is because, as much as this is a genuinely serious game, with some very serious messages, with some very serious tones, with some exceptionally serious gameplay, it's so fucking funny and silly and just goofy in so many different ways, and the things that you can do. It's a toy box for adults, it really is, and it was one of the first games that really shown off that this is what gaming could become. And it influenced so many genres, so many franchises. Half-Life 2 was monumental for a fucking reason, and I don't expect Half-Life 3 to be that monumental. At this point, I would just take a genuinely exceptionally good game that doesn't influence the industry, but just continues on the legacy of how good Half-Life is to replay. Because if you play this now, if you've never played it before, and you've played all those other games, you're probably going to notice some things, but it's not going to be as groundbreaking, but it's still going to be a masterpiece 10 out of 10 game. I will take that for Half-Life 3. I think all of us will take that for Half-Life 3. None of us want the next 20 years defined by Half-Life 3, but all of us would kill for a game of this caliber. So yeah, I think I'm done. And the fact that I'm done and this phone still hasn't rang, which I'm not going to lie, I am at the end of the video now. I know I usually waffle, but if this starts to ring, I'm going to just end the video. So I'm going to say, this has been Sky Fellowship. I hope you have a great rest of your day. You might now get a little bit of waffle, but as far as I'm concerned, the video from start to finish is actually done. Yeah, I love this game. It hasn't aged, did you? And yeah, it looks a little rough compared to modern day gaming. In VR, it actually looks a hell of a lot better, I noticed, but maybe that is... I've got a good PC anyway, and there's some texture packs that you can get, and there's some upscalers, and I managed to run the game flat out. It was something like 400% resolution boosting, if memory serves, and I was getting like 60 frames, which in VR is actually really bad. It was making me nauseous, so I had to drop it down a little bit to something like 200%, and I was stunned with how good it looked, especially compared to a lot of modern day VR games. It made me realise that even this ancient fucking game is still so many miles ahead of so many other things out there. Right, I think that is me done now then. So until the next time, I know I've already said it, but this has been Sky Fellowship, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And honestly, if you've never played it, if you can't play it in VR, still play it in flat screen. It's fantastic. But if you've got access to be able to play this in VR and you for some reason haven't ever played Half-Life 2, I'm almost jealous of the experience you're going to have, because again, it went from a 10 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10 or a 13 out of 10, however you want to describe this, because the VR version is just that great. So I couldn't even imagine if my first ever experience with this absolute fucking masterpiece was in VR. So maybe that's the episode title. Somehow VR found a way to do the impossible. I think that's the title. Right, yep, bye!